I have seen gods fly. I've seen men build weapons that I couldn't even imagine. I've seen aliens drop from the sky.
Yeah.
But I have never seen anything like this.
Spoiler alert, that little monologue, not actually in the movie. So Black Panther is the latest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's 18 for anybody who's counting. And is in a way a sequel to Captain America Civil War. It's the first time we're introduced to the character of T'Challa, aka Black Panther. And it's also where, spoilers if you haven't actually seen Civil War, his father is killed in an explosion. And he becomes the rightful king to the country of Wakanda. Now, Black Panther picks up with T'Challa going back to Wakanda and going through all the stuff that he needs to do to actually ascend the throne. And hilarity ensues. Black Panther is directed by Ryan Coogler, who also did Creed and Fruitvale Station. I've never seen Fruitvale Station. It stars Chadwick Boseman reprising his role as T'Challa, or Black Panther. Now, the trailer spent a lot of time selling this movie as just one big action set after the other. Not really the case. The bulk of the movie is spent fleshing out the characters of T'Challa and his ascension to the throne, the people of Wakanda and their place in their society, the relationship to T'Challa, and then Wakanda as a whole. Wakanda is fictional for those who aren't paying attention and is very much cut off from the rest of the world. And because of that, they haven't had to deal with the problems that the rest of the world has to deal with. And they've just blown up. Things have been great for them. And now they got to figure out what to do with all of that. If they're going to do with anything. I mean, does anything change? Why should it? So, I have to say I was never really sold on Wakanda as a real place. You get these wide, sweeping vista shots of all this beautiful landscape. All CGI. Mostly CGI. Certainly all of the city is CGI because it doesn't exist. You get to see this thriving metropolis that is a city within Wakanda. It's kind of weird. Wakanda's the country, right? But it centers around this city. This high-tech city that, to the best of my knowledge, never got a name. But it seems to be the heart of Wakanda. Pretty much everything else we're shown outside of that city is farmland. Huts. Lots of huts. Little huts. With a couple of exceptions, everything that happens in Wakanda either takes place in the throne room, near the waterfalls that you see in the trailers, or down in the vibranium mines, which is also the headquarters of T'Challa's sister, Shuri, who is sort of the Q to T'Challa's James Bond character, as it were. To be honest with you, I was expecting more of a Minority Report or like iRobot sort of vibe to this technologically advanced city, and what I actually got was more Blade Runner. I don't know. It just didn't sell it for me. Whatever. So the cast for Black Panther is pretty stellar. There's a lot of names on here that people will recognize. For me, there was 3 standouts that I'll talk about real quick. Fans of the MCU are aware that Marvel sort of suffers from a lack of solid villains. We'll call it that. Loki's great. Has been from the beginning. Recently, Hela in Thor Ragnarok was freaking amazing. But between those two, really a whole lot of nothing. I mean, there was a lot of big character names, but their translation to the big screen didn't play out so well. Enter Eric Killmonger. Killmonger is an engaging character with a storyline that's believable and motives that you could get behind, provided you were okay with the idea of just killing everybody who disagrees with you. And Jordan sells this role too. I mean, he comes off as a legitimate badass. And there are times when you kind of want him to win. But really, that's a bad idea. I have to say, I'm not crazy about the way things turned out for my new favorite protagonist, but this is Marvel. Who knows? Anything can happen. Also, a quick shout out to Andy Serkis as Ulysses Claw. I love the amount of crazy that he brings to this character, and without getting all spoilery, I really hope to see him do something like this, if not this role, again, somewhere in the future. So, the biggest surprise for me was Winston Duke as M'Baku. When this movie was over, this is the character, this M'Baku, that stuck in my head, and I really wanted to see more of this guy. I also kept asking myself, why haven't I seen this guy before? Well, I don't watch a lot of TV, and I looked up his IMDb page, and this is his first feature film, so everything he's done up to this point is TV, which explains why I missed him. Much like Korg in Thor Ragnarok, M'Baku is the character that really stood out to me and stole all of his scenes. The scenes herein are his scenes, and he knows it. And they're great. They're funny, and he, again, total badass. I want to see more of this guy. Story-wise, there's not a lot going on here. I mean, it's really all about T'Challa gaining the throne, and then trying to understand what it means to be a king, what it means to be a leader. Certainly a leader with as much power as he has. And keeping the throne. There's really not much else I can say without spoiling stuff, so I won't. Black Panther is a really pretty movie, but it's also a really CGI heavy movie. And that's becoming par for the course for Marvel these days. Things are becoming so fantastic. The worlds are so out there that it's hard not to do a lot of this stuff with CGI. But there are some things that happened in this movie that really stand out as bad CGI. The Black Panther suit itself is my biggest gripe, I think. It suffers from the same issue that Venom had in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, where every time Venom had to say something or there was a facial expression that the director wanted us to see, you know, the mask came back off the face, right? And that happens way too often in Black Panther. The mask shows up, the mask disappears. The mask shows up, the mask disappears. It's really goofy. And while the idea of the Iron Man suit being stored in a briefcase is goofy, even more goofy is the idea of how the Black Panther suit is stored away when not in use. Again, I guess it's a spoiler. I won't give it away. But it's goofy. Plus there's rhinos. CGI rhinos. Didn't work. There was a funny scene. Still not very believable. Go figure. Also, the entire final battle between Black Panther and Killmonger is inside the vibranium mines in a really dark area with both of them wearing really dark suits and a lot of shaky cam going on. It could have been better. It wasn't horrible. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it, but could have done something a little bit different. Way too much CGI for one thing. But, and the mask thing. Oh my god, the mask thing. In the end, though, I really enjoyed Black Panther. I think it was a really good movie. I love T'Challa. I love his crew. For lack of a better way to put it, his generals, the people he surrounds himself with. I'm hoping to see more of him. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him because he obviously plays a fairly pivotal role in the upcoming Avengers Infinity Wars. If you've seen the trailer, you know this. For me, it would rank pretty high in the MCU pantheon, and using my not 100% set in stone rating system, I would give it 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I will be purchasing it on Blu-ray. And that's it. Thanks for watching the first official episode of UUMR. Subscribe, thumbs up, all that good stuff. If you feel inclined to leave a comment, please do. I realize the trolls are going to be trolls, but any constructive criticism you can give me, tips, tricks, all that sort of stuff. This is my first video. It is going to get better. Thanks for tagging along. See ya.